In today's video, I'm going to give book recommendations based off of Fourth Wing and what you can read next. So hello my fellow fantasy book lovers and welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, hi and welcome. My name is Cassie. I'm a goth girl from Belgium who loves to read fantasy books. In today's video, I'm going to give you suggestions of books and series that you might want to read if you really enjoyed Fourth Wing. Because Fourth Wing has been taking the book world by storm. People who weren't reading for a very long time have been rediscovering their love for books with this book. And of course, if you've read Fourth Wing and you really love the series, then I'm gonna suppose you've also read Iron Flame, which is book 2. If you haven't yet, then I would highly recommend so. And at the start of 2025, book 3, Onyx Storm, will be released as well. So that's if you only want to read from the same author. They're actually a romance author who started dabbling into fantasy writing, and this is their fantasy romance debut. There is a lot of storytelling going on in this book. If you haven't read it yet, I could highly recommend it. It's not like the best book ever, but it's very fun, very enjoyable. There is actually a lot more going on than I originally thought there would be, so I could highly recommend it if you haven't read it yet. So if you loved Fourth Wing, but you want more romance, then I have this book series that I can highly recommend. The 5th book is currently almost out, if I'm not mistaken. Release date is in September. It is a completed series after book 5. So if you're patient enough to wait until September, or if you start reading them now a book a week, then in September you will be able to read book 5 as well. It is the A Court of Dragons N series. This is a why choose romance, so we have one female main character and then multiple male characters with who she all gets involved. This is known from the start. This series is a bit of a weird series. The first book sets up for so much more. The second book does too, but then it takes a different twist. And I didn't like that twist, personally. And the spicy scenes in some of these books are very good. So if you want more romance, then this is the way to go. Book 1, I would give a 1 chili pepper on the hotness scale. Book 2 definitely is a 3 or a 4. Book 3, it goes back to a 1 or a 2. Book 4 is also a 1 or a 2. There's not really a lot of spicy scenes going on in these books. So I have very high hopes for the 5th book. I hope that is going to be a very spicy conclusion to this series. Honestly, we're all waiting for it. But if you want a series that is nearly completed, that has more romance than Fourth Wing, then I would highly recommend this series. Now, if you read Fourth Wing and you're like, oh my god, there was too much smut in this book series, then I have another one for you, which is called Fireborne by Rosaria Munda. This is a completed trilogy. I've currently only read the first book. It is very similar setting to Fourth Wing. It's also like an academic setting with dragons. People have been chosen by the dragons. The romance in these books is also like implied fade to black romance and not in your face, let's describe everything they do romance. So this is a completed trilogy that I personally really love the first book of, and that I cannot wait to finish book 2 and 3 that are already out. So you can get this trilogy, dig your teeth in and finish it as well. If you're someone who loves politics in their dragon books, so if you liked Fourth Wing but you want more politics, then I could highly recommend this completed series by Naomi Novik called Temeraire. Temeraire is a little bit less high fantasy than Fourth Wing, so this takes place in the world as we know it, with countries, with France, with England, etc. And the main character in the first book finds a dragon egg, the dragon egg hatches and the dragon bonds to him. And in Temeraire there is a world at war, hence why the English have taken this egg from a French ship and then like raised the dragon. So this is very heavy on politics. I personally only have finished book 1 so far, but I really enjoyed it. I really love how fluid Naomi Novik's writing style is, and I'm very intrigued to read the rest of the series as well. The final dragon recommendation that I want to make is if you liked Fourth Wing but you want more epic fantasy, then we have the Dragons of the Seed. This is a trilogy that is almost completed by Weis and Hickman. They write all sorts of epic fantasy tales. They're actually based off of D&D campaigns, so they're very high fantasy. I've personally listened to the audiobook of book 1 already and I was blown away by how good it was. I actually want to read the books now so I can get immersed into it even more. Book 2 is already out and book 3 I think is releasing in September of October this year as well. And if you like this author, they also have other series that focus more on the heroes, etc. So there's a lot of books if you like this as well. And then finally, I want to make 2 recommendations if you loved Fourth Wing, but it doesn't necessarily need to be dragon-based. There is of course Sarah J. Maas books. I personally didn't really love Akotar as much as everyone else did. However, I do really enjoy the Throne of Glass series, which is also like a high fantasy with some romance in it. So if you liked Fourth Wing's writing style, how the world building is, how the relationships are, I feel you will also enjoy Sarah J. Maas's books. And if you prefer vampires, then of course there is Carissa Broadbent's Serpent and the Wings of Night, or in general the Crowns of Nyaxia books. There's 4 right now. She's writing the 5th one, which will be I think 7 books completed in the same world setting. So if you prefer vampires over dragons, then read this series. It is well worth it. So these are all the book recommendations that I can personally give you if you really enjoyed Fourth Wing, what you could possibly read afterwards. And if you have any other recommendations as well, feel free to leave them in a comment section down below. As for usual, I will be linking to all of the books mentioned in the description box of the video. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you'd like to be, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I make new videos every week and I would love to have you for every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you very soon with a new video. Bye!